Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo
नमो
Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Darati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Putapatakamalам Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahabrijatam Sahaganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganalalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां स्वाकता कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृद्यन्दस्तोय भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Text number 32534. नैकात्मतं मे स्पृहयन्ति केचिन्मत्पादसेवाभिरता मदीह येन्युन्यतो भागवतः प्रसज्य सह भाजयन्ते मम पौरशानि. Na, never. Ekatmatam. Merging into oneness. Me, my. Sprayanti, they desire. Keschit, any. Matpada seva, the service of my lotus feet. Abhirata, engaged in. Mat iha, endeavoring to attain me. Ye, those who. Anyunjata, mutually. Bhagavata, pure devotees. Prasaya, assembling. Sabha Jayante, glorify. Mama, my. Paurushani, glorious activities. Translation. A pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. Purport. There are 5 kinds of liberation stated in the scriptures. One is to become one with the Supreme Person of Godhead, or to forsake one's individuality and merge into the Supreme Spirit. This is called ekatmatam. A devotee never accepts these kinds of liberation. The other four kinds of liberations are to be promoted to the same planet as God, Vaikuntha, to associate personally with the Supreme Lord, to achieve the same opulence as the Lord, and to attain the same bodily features as the Supreme Lord. A pure devotee, as will be explained by Kapila Muni, does not aspire for any of the five liberations. He especially despises as hellish becoming one with the Supreme Person of Godhead. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, said, Kaivalyam narakayate, the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, which is aspired to by the Mayavadis, is considered to be hellish. That oneness is not for pure devotees. There are many so-called devotees who think that in the conditioned state we may worship the personality of Godhead, but ultimately there is no personality. They say that since the absolute truth is impersonal, one can imagine a personal form of the impersonal absolute truth for the time being, but as soon as one becomes liberated, the worship stops. That is the theory put forward by the Mayavadi philosophy. Actually, the impersonalists do not merge into the existence of the Supreme Person, but into his personal bodily luster, which is called Brahmajyoti. Although that Brahmajyoti is not different from his personal body, that sort of oneness or merging into the bodily luster of the Supreme Person of Godhead is not accepted by a pure devotee, because the devotee is engaged in greater pleasure than the so-called pleasure of merging into his existence. The greatest pleasure is to serve the Lord Devotees are always thinking about how to serve him. They are always designing ways and means to serve the Supreme Lord, even in the midst of the greatest obstacles of material existence. The Mayavadis accept the description of the pastimes of the Lord as stories, but actually they are not stories. They are historical facts. Pure devotees accept the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord not as stories, but as absolute truth. The words Mama Paurushani are significant. Devotees are very much attached to glorifying the activities of the Lord, whereas the Mayavadis cannot even think of these activities. According to them, the absolute truth is impersonal. Without personal existence, how can there be activity? The impersonalists take the activities mentioned in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other Vedic literature as fictitious stories, and therefore they interpret them most mischievously. They have no idea of the personality of Godhead. They unnecessarily poke their noses into the scripture and interpret it in a deceptive way in order to mislead the innocent public. The activities of Mayavada philosophy are very dangerous to the public, and therefore Lord Chaitanya warned never to hear from any Mayavadi about any scripture. They will spoil the entire process, and the person hearing them will never be able to come to the path of devotional service to attain the highest perfection, or will be able to do so only after a very long time. It is clearly stated by Kapila Muni that bhakti activities or activities in devotional service are transcendental to mukti. This is called Panchama Purushartha. Generally, people engage in the activities of religion, economic development, and sanskritification, and ultimately, they work with an idea that they are going to become one with the Supreme Lord Mukti. But bhakti is transcendental to all these activities. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, therefore, begins by stating that all kinds of pretentious religiosity is completely eradicated from the Bhagavatam. Ritualistic activities for economic development and sanskritification, and after frustration in sanskritification, the desire to become one with the Supreme Lord, are all completely rejected in the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is especially meant for the pure devotees who always engage in Krishna consciousness, in the activities of the Lord, and always glorify these transcendental activities. Pure devotees worship the transcendental activities of the Lord in Vrindavan, Dwaraka, and Mathura, as they are narrated in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and other Puranas. The Mayavadi philosophers completely reject them as stories, but actually they are great and worshipful subject matter and thus are relishable only for devotees. That is the difference between a Mayavadi and a pure devotee. Text number 35. पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि चाकं वाचं स्पृहणीयं वदन्ति Pashyanti see they me my Ruchirani beautiful Amba O mother Santa devotees Prasanna smiling Vaktra face Aruna like the morning sun Lochanani eyes Rupani forms Divyani transcendental Varapradani benevolent Sa come with me, Vacham works, Sprahaniyam favorable, Vadanti they speak. Translation. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Purport. Mayavadis and the atheists accept the forms of the deities in the temple of the Lord as idols, but the devotees do not worship idols. They directly worship the personality of God in his Archa incarnation. Archa refers to the form which we can worship in our present condition. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in his spiritual form, because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of a spiritual form. We cannot even see the spiritual form of the individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how the spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect of our material senses. In order to be seen by our material senses, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form, which is called Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha, sometimes called the Archa Incarnation, is not different from him. Just as the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations, so he takes on forms made out of matter, clay, wood, metal, jewels, etc. There are many sastric injunctions which give instructions for carving forms of the Lord. These forms are not material. If God is all pervading, then he is also in the material elements. There is no doubt about it, but the atheists think otherwise. Although they preach that everything is God, when they go to the temple and see the form of the Lord, they deny that he is God. According to their own theory, everything is God. Then why is the deity not God? Actually, they have no conception of God. The devotee's vision, however, is different. Their vision is smeared with love of God. As soon as they see the Lord in his different forms, the devotees become saturated with love, for they do not find any difference between the Lord and his form in the temple, as do the atheists. The smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees, as beheld by the devotees, as very transcendental and spiritual. And the decoration of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees. It is the duty of the spiritual master to teach how to decorate the deity in the temple, how to cleanse the temple, and how to worship the deity. There are different procedures and rules and regulations which are followed in the temples of Vishnu, and devotees go there and see the deity, the Vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form because all of the deities are benevolent. The devotees express their minds before the deity, and in many instances, the deity also gives answers. But one must be a very elevated devotee in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams. These exchanges of feelings between the deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists, but actually the devotee enjoys. Kapila Muni is explaining how the devotees see the decorated body and face of the deity and how they speak with him in devotional service. Hare Krishna, Shubham Prabhu, Tandar Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Would anyone like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam to all of you.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you for joining, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, one verse I can read.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Tay darsanaya, tay darsana, darsaniya, vaya vaya dara, vilasa hase chitva masuktai, vedat manorit प्रणामाश्च भक्तिरैक्षतो मे गतिम् अन्विमृत्युङ्ते Thy those forms destiny charming Annoy whose limbs are exalted vilas pastimes Hans smiling Chita glance warm pleasing Suktai whose delightful words hath captivated Atmana minds, their yes, hath captivated Pranan, their senses, and Bhakti devotional service. Anekshan unwilling me, my Gatim abode, Anvim subtle, Payungte secure. A translation and purport by His Divine Graces Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Ki Jai. Upon seeing the charming form of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness. His senses are freed from all other engagement, and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, he gets liberation without separate endeavor. Perfect. There are three divisions of devotee: first class, second class, and third class. In the third class, devotee are liberated souls. It is explained in this verse that although they don't have knowledge simply by seeing the beautiful decoration of the deity in the temple, the devotee is absorbed in thought of him and loses all other consciousness simply by fixing on self in Krishna consciousness, engaging the senses in service of the Lord one is imperceptibly liberated. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita simply by discharging uncontaminated devotional service as prescribed in the scriptures, one becomes equal to Brahman. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. This means that the divinity in his original state is Brahman because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Brahman. But simply because of his forgetfulness of his real nature as an eternal servitor of the Lord, he is overwhelmed and captured by Maya. His forgetfulness of his real constitutional position is Maya, otherwise he is eternally Brahman. Yes, Prabhu, I can continue some more words. When one is trained to become conscious of his position, he understands that he is the servitor of Lord Brahman refers to a state of self-realization. Even the third class devotee who is not advanced in knowledge of absolute truth personally offers obeisances with great devotion. Yes, so can you scroll it till down, Prabhu? Yes. Devotion thinks of the Lord, sees the Lord in temple and brings forth flowers and fruits to offer to the deity becomes imperceptibly liberated. Shraddhayanvita with great devotion. The devotee offer worshipful respects and paraphernalia to the deity. The deities of Radha and Krishna, Lakshmi Narayana and Ram and Sita are very attractive to the devotees. So much so that when they see the statue decorated in the temple of the Lord, they become fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is the state of liberation. In other words, it is confirmed here with that even in third class devotees in the transcendental position of those who are trying for liberation by speculation or by other methods. Even great impersonalists like Sukdev Goswami and the four Kumaras were attracted by the beauty of the deities in temple by decoration and by the aroma of tulsi offered to the Lord, and they become devotees. Even though they are in the yes, so scroll up. Even though they are in the liberated state, instead of remaining impersonalists, they were attracted by the beauty of the Lord and become devotees. Here the word vilas is very important. Vilas means the activities or pastime of the Lord. It is a prescribed duty in temple worship that not only should one visit the temple to see the deity nicely decorated, but at the same time he should hear the recitation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or some similar literature which is regularly recited in the temple. It is system in Vrindavan that in every temple there is recitation of Shastras. Even third class devotees who have no literary knowledge or no time to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad Gita get the opportunity to hear about the pastime of the Lord. In this way, their mind may remain always absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord, His form, His activities, and His transcendental nature. This state of Krishna consciousness is a liberated state. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended five important processes in the discharge of devotional service. First, to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To associate with devotees and serve them as far as possible. To hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. To see the decorated temple and the deity and possible to live in place like Vrindavan and or Mathura. These five items alone can help a devotee to achieve the highest perfectional stage. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita and here in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That third class devotee can also imperceptibly achieve liberation is accepted in all Vedic literature. Although this purport was really big, Prabhu.
But Prabhu,
Purport was very big.
yes, Prabhu.
Also,
You want to read next one?
Prabhu, may I read some more verses?
Yes, Prabhu.
अथो विभूतिं ममाया अथो विभूतिं मम माया विनताम् ऐश्वर्यम् अगाधम् अनुप्रवृत्तं श्रीमद्भागवतम् वास्पृहन्ति भद्रां परस्मेते नु स्नोतु लोके अथो then vibhutim opulence of me maya winner of the Lord of Maya Tam that as for a mystic perfection Astangam consisting of 8 parts Anupravitim following Sriyam splendor Bhagavatim of blissful Bhagavatim of the kingdom of God Va or Asprihayanti they don't desire Padram blissful parasya of the Supreme Lord. May of me they those devotees asnu what they enjoys to but loga in this life. Thus because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary system, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the eight material perfection obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be related to the kingdom of God, yet even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys even in this life the upper benediction. Yes, so little down, yes. The beauty or opulence offered by Maya are of many varieties. Varieties. I have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment. Yes, Prabhu, can you scroll it down, bro? Because I cannot see here, bro. No, down, bro, down. Yes, yes, now you're right. The body or opulence offered by Maya are of many varieties. We have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment even on this planet, but if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandra, Loka, the sun, or still higher, Mahaloko, Janloka, or Taploka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and is called Satyaloka. There are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. For example, the duration of life on higher planet is far greater than on yes, this planet. It is said that on the moon the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to one day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planet. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma still are inconceivable to our mathematicians. These are all description of the external energy of the Lord. Or Maya, beside these, there are other opulences with the yogi. Yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. A devotee does not aspire for all these material creatures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing, but a real devotee who does not like that. A real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that one should not desire material opulence or material yes, so little down, Prabhu. Yes, reputation, nor should One try to enjoy material beauty, one should simply aspire to be absorbed in devotional service of the Lord, even if he does not get liberation but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here. Bhavan Bhagavatim Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is steadily, peaceful, yet a pure devotee does not even aspire to promote it there. But still he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual world even during the present lifespan. Thank you, bro.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Praveen, Prabhu Tandar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanam Pranam, Jai Sri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Rushikesh, Prabhu also Tandar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu's Dandat Pranam,
Hare
Jai Shri
Krishna,
Prabhupada.
Praveen. Hare Krishna, Praveen and Rishikesh, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanam Pranam, Jai Sri
Hare Krishna Prabhu's Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
We have 6 more verses. How would you like to share them? Or will Praveen Prabhu read?
Prabhu, can I read a few?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay. Text 38. Na karhichin matpara santarupe na nakshanti nome nimiso lediheti yesham aham priya atmat sutascha sakha kuru suhrido devim ishtam. Na not karhichit ever matpara my devotees santa rupe O mother nakshanti will lose no not. May my enemies time lady destroyers heti weapon yesham of whom aham I priya dear atma self suta son and cha and saka friend guru preceptor surida benefactor daivam deity ishtam chosen. Translation purport by Jean Percy Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Lord continued, My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time. Purport. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one may elevate himself to the higher planetary systems, even up to Brahmaloka, by dint of pious activities. But when the effects of such pious activities are finished, one again comes back to this earth to begin a new life of activities. Thus, even though one is promoted to the higher planetary system for enjoyment and a long duration of life, still that is not permanent settlement. But as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service, and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. In this verse, Kapila addresses his mother as Shantarupa, indicating that the opulences of the devotees are fixed because the devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shantarupa because it is in the mode of pure goodness, undisturbed by the mode of passion and ignorance. Once one is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, his possession of transcendental service cannot be destroyed, and the pleasure and service simply increases unlimitedly. For the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time. In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time or of the demigods, because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Here, our activities are controlled by different demigods. Even if we move our hand and leg, the action is controlled by the demigods. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of demigod or of time. Therefore, there is no question of destruction. When the time element is present, there is certainly there is certainty of destruction. But where there is no time of element, past, present, or future, then everything is eternal. Therefore, this verse uses the word na nangshati, indicating that the transcendental opulences will never be destroyed. The reason for freedom from destruction is also described. The devotees accept the Supreme Lord as the most dear personality and reciprocate with him in different relationships. They accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the dearest friend, the dearest relative, the dearest son, the dearest preceptor, the dearest well-wisher, or the dearest deity. The Lord is eternal. Therefore, any relationship in which we accept Him is also eternal. It is clearly confirmed here in that the relationships cannot be destroyed, and therefore the opulences of those relationships are never destroyed. Every living entity has the propensity to love someone. When we see that if someone has no object of love, then generally he puts his love in a pet animal like a cat or a dog. Thus, the eternal propensity of love in all living entities is always searching for a place to reside. From this verse, we can learn that we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead as our dearest object, as a friend, as a son, as a preceptor, or as a well-wisher, and there will be no cheating on and no end to such love. We shall eternally enjoy the relationship with the Supreme Lord in different aspects. A special feature of this verse is the acceptance of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Preceptor. Bhagavad Gita is spoken directly by the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna accepted Krishna as Guru or spiritual master. Similarly, we should accept only Krishna as the Supreme Spiritual Master. Krishna, of course, means Krishna and his confidential devotees. Krishna is not alone. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna means Krishna in his name, in his form, in his quality, in his abode, in his associates, etc. Krishna is never alone because the devotees of Krishna are not impersonalists. For example, a king is always associated with his secretary, his commander, his servant, and so much paraphernalia. As soon as we accept Krishna and his associates as our preceptors, no ill effects can destroy our knowledge. In the material world, the knowledge which we acquire may change because of the influence of time. But nevertheless, the conclusions received from Bhagavad Gita directly from the speeches of the Supreme Lord Krishna can never change. There is no use of interpreting Bhagavad Gita, it is eternal. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, should be accepted as one's best friend. He will never cheat. He will always give his friendly advice and friendly protection to the devotee. If is accepted as the son, he will never die. You can scroll down, Prabhu. Here we have here we have a very loving son or child, but the father and the mother or those who are affectionate towards him always hope, may my son not die. But Krishna actually will never die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna or the Supreme Lord as their son will never be bereft of their son. In many instances, devotees have accepted the deity as son. In Bengal, there are many such instances, and even after the death of the deity performed the Shraddha ceremony for the father. The relationship is never destroyed. People are accustomed to worship different forms of demigods, but in the Bhagavad Gita, such a mentality is condemned. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different forms, such as Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram, and Radha Krishna. Thus, he will never be cheated. By worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets. But during dissolution of the material world, the deity and the abode of the deity will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planet, where there is no influence of time, destruction, or annihilation. The conclusion is that the time influence cannot act upon devotees who have accepted Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. Text 39 and 40. Imam lokam tathaiva atmanam ubhayayinam atmanam anuye cheha येह पाशवो ग्रह विसृज्य सर्वम् अन्यंश्च माम् एवं विश्वतोमुखं भजन्ति अनन्यभक्त्या भक्त्या तन्मृतोरतिपर्यये Paraye Imam, this lokam word, Tatha accordingly, Eva certainly, Amum that word, Atmanam the subtle body, Ubhaya in both, Ainam traveling, Atmanam the body, Anu in relationship with, Ye those who, Cha and Iha in this world, Ye that which, Raya wealth, Vashrava cattle, Griha houses, Visricha giving having given up Sarvan all are Anyan other cha and mam me Ivan this thus Vishvata Mukham, the all-pervading Lord of the universe. Bhajanti, they worship Ananya, unflinching, Bhaktya, by devotional service, Tan, then Mrityu of death, Atipariye, I take to the other side. Translation. Thus the devotee who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, is unflinching in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations to be, you can scroll down, Prabhu, promoted to heavenly planets or to become happy in this world, with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relationship with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death. Purport. Unflinching devotional service, as described in these two verses, is means engaging oneself in full Krishna consciousness or devotional service, accepting the Supreme Lord as all in all. Since the Supreme Lord is all inclusive, if anyone worships him with unflinching faith, he has automatically achieved all other opulences and performed all other duties. The Lord promises herein that he takes his devotee to the other side of birth and death. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended that one who aspires to go beyond birth and death should have no material possessions. This means that one should not try to be happy in this world or to be promoted to a heavenly world, nor should he try for material wealth, children, houses, and cattle. How liberation is imperceptibly achieved by a pure devotee and what the symptoms are have been explained. For the conditioned soul, there are two statuses of living. One status is in this present life, and the other is our preparation for next life. If I am in the mode of goodness, then I may be preparing for promotion to the higher planets. If I am in the mode of passion, then I shall remain here in the society where activity is prominent, and if I am in the mode of ignorance, I may be degraded to animal life or lower grade of human life. But for a devotee, there is no concern for this life or the next life, because in any life he does not desire elevation in material prosperity or a higher grade or lower grade life. He prays to the Lord, my dear Lord, it does not matter where I am born, but let me be born even as an ant in the house of a devotee. A pure devotee does not pray to the Lord for liberation from the material bondage. Actually, the pure devotee never thinks he is fit for liberation, considering his past life and his mischievous activities, he thinks that he is fit to be sent to the lowest region of hell. If in this life I am trying to become a devotee, this does not mean that in my many past lives I was 100% pious. That is not possible. A devotee therefore is always conscious of his real position. Only by his full surrender to the Lord and by the Lord's grace are his sufferings made shorter. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto me and I will give you protection from all kinds of sinful reaction. That is his mercy. But this does not mean that one who has surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord has committed no mistakes in his past life. A devotee always prays, for my mistakes I may be born again and again. But you can scroll down, Prabhu. My only prayer is that I may not forget your service. If the devotee has that much mental strength, then and he prays to the Lord, may I be born again and again, but let me be born in the home of a pure devotee, so that I may again get the chance to develop myself. A pure devotee is not anxious to elevate himself in his next birth. He has already given up that sort of hope. In any life in which one is born, you can scroll down, Prabhu, as a householder or even as an animal. He must have some children, some resources, or some possessions. But a devotee is not anxious to possess anything. He is satisfied with whatever is obtainable by God's grace. He is not at all attached to improving his social status or improving the status of education of his children. He is not neglectful. He is dutiful. But he does not spend too much time on the upliftment of temporary household or social life. He fully engages in the service of the Lord, and for other affairs he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. Yathartham yunjata. Such a pure devotee does not care for what is going to happen in the next life or in this life. He does not even care for family, children, or society. He fully engages in the service of the Lord and Krishna consciousness. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that without the knowledge of of the devotee, the Lord arranges for his devotee to be immediately transferred to his transcendental abode just after leaving his body. After quitting his body, he does not go into the womb of another mother. The ordinary common living entity after death is transferred to the womb of another mother, according to his karma or activities, to take another type of body. But as far as the devotee is concerned, he is at once transferred to the spiritual world in the association of the Lord. That is the Lord's special mercy. How it is possible is explained in the following verses. Because He is all powerful, the Lord can do anything and everything. He can excuse all sinful reactions. He can immediately transfer a person to Vaikuntha Loka. That is the inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is favorably disposed to the pure devotees. Thank you, Prabhu. If someone wants to continue.
Haribol, thank you so much. Who wants to continue? We have some few more verses.
Yeah, let us complete them today.
Yes, Prabhu.
Shall I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Text 41. Nanyatra mad bhagavataha pradhana purusheswarat atmanah sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate. Names. Not anyatra. Come on, bro. Not anyatra, otherwise mat, that myself, Bhagavataha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pradhana Purusha Ishwarat, the Lord of both Prakriti and Purusha, Atmanaham, the soul, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutanam, of all living beings, Bhayam, fear, Tevram, terrible, Nevartate, is forsaken. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who restores to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Purport: it is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim, Harim Vinana Sritim Taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed herewith. One may take to the system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensual speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no process can give him liberation. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10 to 32. Ye Aravindaksha Vimukta Maninaha. Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought that they have become liberated or one with God or have become God, but in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, their intelligence is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita therefore confirms that purified intelligence arises in the person of a very wise man. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam pravadhyante. After many, many births, one who is actually advanced in intelligence surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Without the surrendering process, one cannot achieve liberation. The Bhagavatam says those who are simply puffed up thinking themselves liberated by some non devotional process are not polished or clear in intelligence because they have not yet surrendered unto you. In spite of executing all kinds of austerities and penances, or even arriving at the arriving at the keep scrolling down, arriving at the brink of spiritual realization, in Brahman realization, they think that they are in the effulgence of Brahman. But actually, because they have no transcendental activities, they fall down to material activities. One should not be satisfied simply with knowing that he is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman, that is Bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Parabrahman. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entity is also Brahman. Without realization that he is Brahman, spirit soul, or an eternal servitor of the Lord, if one simply thinks that he is Brahman, then that is only theoretical. He has to realize and at the same time engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he can exist in the Brahman status. Otherwise, he falls down. The Bhagavatam says that because non devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, their intelligence is not sufficient, and therefore Therefore, these persons fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in the activity of transcendental service, he must fall down to material activity. As soon as one falls down to material activity, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, without my mercy, Anyatra Mad Bhagavataha. The Lord is stated here to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicating that he is full of all opulences and he is therefore perfectly competent to deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. He is also called Pradhana because he is the supreme. He is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders to him, he is especially favorable. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy and no one is his friend. But to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially inclined. By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, he may go on in many, many lives and many, many times attempt other processes for liberation. Next 42. Madbhav मद्भयाद् वाति वातोऽयं सूर्यस्तपति मद्भयात् वर्षतीन्द्रो दहत्यग्निर्मृत्युश्चरति मद्भयात् synonyms मद्भयात् out of fear of me vati blows vatah wind I am this Surya, the sun, Tapati, shines. Madbhayat, out of fear of me, Varshati, showers rain. Indraha, Indra, Dahati, burns. Agnihi, fire. Mrityuhu, death. Charati, goes. Madbhayat, out of fear of me. Translation, it is because of my supremacy that the wind blows. Out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. Purport. The Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, says in the Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of his superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically with her superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigods. Demigod Indra, heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. These different demigods or directors, such as Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu, are called Adhikari Devata. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three, there are millions of planets and millions of universes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government and he requires assistance. The demigods are considered here his bodily limbs. These are the descriptions of Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed so punctually and regularly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely promoted from all other influences. He no longer serves or is He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, the sun is giving heat, etc., are not sentimental. The impersonalist may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualities to him, but actually it is neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Bhishasmad Vataha Pavate Bhisho Deti Suryaha. By fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting. Bhishasmad Agnis Chandrascha Mrityur Dhavati Panchamaha Agni Indra and Mrityu are also acting under his direction. These are the statements of the Vedas. Text 43. ज्ञानवैराग्ययुक्तेन भक्तियोगेन योगिनः क्षेमाय पादमूल्यं मे प्रविशन्ति अकुतो भयम्. Synonyms: jnana with knowledge, vairagya and renunciation, yuktena equipped, bhakti yogena by devotional service, yogina the yogis, kshemaya for eternal benefit, pada moolam feet, may my pravishyanti take shelter of, akutaha bhayam without fear, akutaha bhayam without fear. Translation: the yogi is equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit, take shelter of my lotus feet, and since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. Purport: one who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is the mystic yogi. The words explicitly used here are Yuktena Bhakti Yogena. Those yogis or mystics who engage in devotional service are the first class yogis. The first class yogis, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, are those who are constantly thinking of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. These yogis are not without knowledge and renunciation. To become a Bhakti yogi means to automatically attain knowledge and renunciation. That is the consequent result of Bhakti yoga. In the Bhagavatam, first Canto, second chapter, it is also confirmed that one who engages in the devotional service of Vasudeva, Krishna, has complete transcendental knowledge and renunciation. There is no explanation for these attainments. Ahetuki, without reason, they come. Even if a person is completely illiterate, simply because of his engagement in devotional service, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures is revealed unto him. It is also stated in the Vedic literature. To anyone who has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master, all the import of the Vedic literature is revealed. He does not have to seek separately. The yogis who engage in the devotional service are full in knowledge and renunciation. If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, it is to be understood that he is not in full devotional service. The conclusion is that one cannot be sure of entrance into the spiritual realm in either the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence of the Lord or the Vaikuntha planets within the Brahman effulgence, unless he is surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. The surrendered souls are called Akuto Bhaya. They are doubtless and fearless, and their entrance into the spiritual kingdom is guaranteed. Text 44. एतावान् एव लोकेऽस्मिन् पुंसां निःश्रेयसोदयः तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन मनोमय्यर्पितं स्थिरं. Synonyms: एतावान् एव, only so far, loke asmin, in this world, punsam of men, nishreyasa, final perfection of life, udayaha, the attainment of tivrena, intense bhakti yogena, by practice of devotional service, manaha, mind, mai, in me, arpitam, fixed, stiram, steady. Translation. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Purport. Here, the words Mayomayarpitam, Manomayarpitam, which mean the mind being fixed on me, are significant. One should fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna or any incarnation. To be fixed steadily in the freedom is the way of liberation. Ambrish Maharaj is an example. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flowers and tulsi offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the foodstuff offered to the Lord, and he engaged his ears for hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. In that way, all his senses were engaged. First of all, the mind should be engaged at the where am I? First of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord very steadily and naturally. Because the mind is the master of the senses. When the mind is engaged, all the senses become engaged. That is Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means controlling the senses. And the senses cannot be controlled in the proper sense of the term. They are always agitated. This is true also with a child. How long can he be forced to sit down silently? It is not possible. Even Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. The mind is always agitated. The best course is to fix the mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Manomaya arpitam stiram. If one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are on the highest perfectional level of human life. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 25th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service.
Haribo, Lord Kapila Dev ki jai.
Jai.
Okay, now we go to
So,
6th prayer.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
In a part in this chapter, there is saying that a third class devotee is also liberated, and in one verse purport there is said that if one is not pure devotee, he cannot be liberated. So, how to understand this, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, let's see the part what it says. These 5 items alone can help a devotee to achieve the highest perfectional stage. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita and here in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The third class devotee can also imperceptibly achieve liberation is accepted in all Vedic literatures. So this means by becoming first class. In the third class he cannot, but it means he has a possibility to become first class. Isn't
No,
this the
Prabhu, you can scroll little up, Prabhu. You can see that there is given the third class devotee is liberated.
which part? Is it the same purport?
Prabhu,
Oh, here.
actually,
Let's see. Shraddhayanvita. With great devotion, the devotees offer worshipful respects and paraphilia to the deity. The deities of Radha and Krishna, Lakshmi and Narayana, and Rama and Sita are very attractive to the devotees, so much so that when they see the statue decorated in the temple of the Lord, they become fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is the state of liberation. See, so in other words, it is confirmed herewith that even a third-class devotee is in the transcendental position above those who are trying for liberation by speculation or by methods. So he's not where this become fully absent. See, he's in transcendental position compared to those others, Gyanis and Yogis and those others. But it does not mean he's first-class devotee yet or fully or pure devotee. He will become pure devotee when he continues his progress. Because see here it was said that the deities are attractive, and when the third-class devotee does deity worship, when he looks at the deity and serves the Archa Vigra, then eventually he will purify himself and become first class, and he is fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. So more and more he increases his thought by doing this process.
So, Prabhu, it means that a third class devotee is better than yogis and jnanis.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this is like someone who enters the school, he's in the first class, like the first year student, and someone who is fifth year student. The first year student will also become graduated at some point, but now the liberation for him is guaranteed. He will pass the school when but he's first year and someone is fifth year. So that means he's guaranteed for liberation because he has entered the school of bhakti. Now he's just on the first step. He's doing Archa Vigra worship, he's chanting.
But at the same time he is above all other transcendentalists even in beginning.
Yes, Prabhu, they have not like begun the bhakti process yet. They might do some other yogic processes.
Mm.
No, in fact, see, let me add something here. Can you go up, Prabhu? Shyam Prabhu. See, as far as the different platforms of the devotees are concerned, there are three types. Okay, neophyte, second, middle neophyte, middle type, and the first class, second class, and first class. Okay, first class, second class, and third class. Third class is nothing but neophyte. But here the comparison is made between a third class devotee and those who are involved in the other processes to attain liberation. Okay, the comparison is not between a third class devotee and a second class or a first class. Here the comparison is between a third class devotee and the ones who are impersonalists or who are trying to achieve liberation through other processes. So when compared to the other processes, a third class devotee is much better than them, because he always, even though he is in third class platform, he always thinks of the Lord when he looks at the deities of the Lord. Look at that line. See, the deities of Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayana, and Rama Sita are very attractive to devotees, so much so that when they see the statue decorated in the temple of the Lord, they become fully absorbed in thought of the Lord. That is the state of liberation. That itself is the state of the liberation. In other words, it is confirmed herewith that even a third class devotee is in the transcendental position above those who are trying for liberation by speculation or by other methods. So the comparison is between the third class devotee and the other types who are involved in attaining the liberation by speculation or by other methods.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, so now I understood fully. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So who wants to begin the Shiksastakam?
Yes, so I may.
Yes, Prabhu.
चेदोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमः
But sorry, Prabhu. Sorry, 1 second. So, Subham Prabhu, 1 second. So ultimately, the conclusion is that you can become a third class devotee, but the process you follow is the most important thing. Okay, don't become a person who wants to attain salvation or liberation by following the other processes. The devotion, the bhakti yoga is the best process. That is the conclusion that is being made in this purport. Okay, don't follow the other process. Better be in the third class position, but follow this bhakti yoga process only. That is the statement made here clearly. Is it clear, bro?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So,
So please
Prabhu,
continue.
I have one more question, Prabhu.
Yes.
If someone has a, if someone is somehow or other, uh, there is a chance that he may be a impersonalist or the karmi. So, which is better, Prabhu? Being a karmi is better or impersonalist? If he has
Impersonalist
no
is...
other way.
Yes, Prabhu. Karma is better. Impersonalist is really bad. Because
Okay.
Karma is at
Why?
least because Karma is at least dedicating he's acknowledging there is Supreme Lord and he's dedicating his fruits to him. But the impersonalist, he thinks he's himself God. So
Mm-hmm.
No,
isn't
Prabhu, I'm saying the karmis like modern day karmis who don't accept even demigods, Prabhu.
Oh, I thought the Karma Yoga versus impersonalist.
No, no.
Oh, I think they are in same because most those impersonalists they are like the karmis. They just it's like the same thing.
So, Praveen Prabhu, do you want to answer?
In fact, see, I had this question in my mind as well. I thought of asking His Grace Sundaragopal Prabhu as well. So my question is, let me put it in another way. I think you are trying to raise the same question. So let me put it in simple words. Okay, who is better, an atheist or a devotee of a demigod? So Swami Prabhu, this is the question: who is better, a devotee of a demigod or an atheist?
Yes, Prabhu.
Of course, see, the devotee of the Supreme Personality is called the topmost devotee. But the point is, even if someone does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality, okay, what kind of benefit will he derive if he becomes a devotee of a demigod?
Yes, Prabhu. That's at least
Atheist.
because they that's at least better because they have to worship
Exactly.
Vishnu also.
Exactly. So yes, yeah. Instead of remaining like a non-devotee or atheist, if someone becomes a devotee of a demigod, he will be benefited at least at some point in the future, because he will realize that he will realize someday that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he will start worshipping Krishna uh, someday. But as long as you remain as a non devotee, you will never accept even a demigod, or for that matter, even Krishna. So that is that position. Being in the position of a non-devotee is much more dangerous than being a worshipper of a demigod, of any demigod. I hope it makes sense.
Yes, Prabhu. And those impersonalists or the Mayavadis who has the philosophy that everything is God and everyone can become God, they are in the most dangerous position.
Right. So, what is the destination for the impersonalists? Is it effulgence, Brahman effulgence, or
Yes,
is it
Prabhu. Yeah,
something
here in the
else?
state, they go to Brahma Jyoti, the impersonal.
Brahmajyoti effulgence.
And then there is some devotees that's like higher class who merge with the body of the Lord. But devotees don't want that.
But Prabhu, in the Upanishad, it is said that the worshipper of demigods go to the darkest region of existence, and those who are the worshipper of impersonal Brahman, they go more than that. So what is the darkest region, Prabhu? This
Which chauvinist word says that?
Upanishad in there is the worst, Prabhu. Like
Yes,
this.
Prabhu. Yeah, that's nice verse because it explains that the impersonalists are even more dangerous position than the demigod worshippers. Because the demigod worshippers, they will enjoy for some time, they will go to the planets of demigods, but it's inevitable that they will fall down, to the hellish planets. Because if you go up, you must go down. The regular scientist even says what goes up must come down. So when you go heavenly planets, you must go also to the lower planets. So that means eventually they will end up there who worship demigods. Like we were Lord Brahma in the beginning, but we were also worm in the stool. So we might have worshipped many demigods and become like higher position, but we ended up lower also, and now we are here. But those who worship the Brahma Jyoti, they just merge. If they are fortunate, they merge with if they accomplish their goal, they merge with the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence. And then when they desire some activity, then they again take some form.
yes, but Prabhupada has said in many purport that ultimately they fall down. This is their result.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, they must fall down because soul needs activity. And they are witnessing all the activities of the spiritual world, and they see that there is really nice activities going on. So they also desire that. It's really hard to imagine you to try to be desireless when you are seeing the best activities of the whole world. They also want to join, and then they must come back to the training ground of the material world. But some cases there might be that they might get some contact by while being there in the Fulgens, they might get some contact with some devotee who is traveling there. It could be like that also sometimes, but that's quite rare thing. Mostly they fall down back here.
Yeah. Right.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भौमः दावाग्निर्वापणम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता सादरम् सर्वात्मस्न परम परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम।
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिः तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशं मिहाजनि नानुरागः।
सुनिचेन तरवरपि सहितना अमान्य देन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि।
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि। ऐनन्दतनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूळि सदृशं विचिन्तया।
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकनिचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति।
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं संज्ञायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे। आश्लिष्य पादरतां विनष्टाम् अदस्नान्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विद्यालम्बटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः।
Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have uh, hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the star in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I
Oh,
have
Almighty.
my desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want to cause this devotional service birth after birth.
Oh, son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hair of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh Govinda, fearing your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Sri Sikshastam ki jai, Chaitanya
Yeah,
Mahaprabhu ki jai,
die.
Hari Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Lady Ball. Bahujanma Karayadi Shavana Kirtan Taputana Paya Krishna Pada Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many birds, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Sixth offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Eighth offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Tenth offense is not to have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of every one, um, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय।
Jai,
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai,
निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhus, for your association and finishing this nice chapter with me. Tomorrow we start the new chapter, and tomorrow is Q&A session. Thank you so much, Prabhus. Hari Bol. Oh, I lost our page. We need to start all over again. Hari Bol. Okay, here it is.